I'm Ed, and again, I've got a little guest here today. This is Lucy. Lucy's our kind of rent-a-dog. She came from friends of ours who lived just in the very next house, and we don't have a clear designation whether she's our dog or their dog, or I think she's kind of a shared dog, but she spends most of her time with us, which she seems to be quite happy about. She gets to sleep on the bed, and she didn't get to sleep on the bed where she lived before, so she's happy. So anyway, I do kind of have a subject today, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give God a break today and let him off the hook. I'm not going to be on about the probability that he doesn't exist, and if he's the one that is depicted in the Bible, I won't be saying he's a thug or Jesus is a jerk or any of that stuff. So I'm letting him off the hook. But I'm going to talk about something almost about as personal as my beliefs and that kind of thing. And that is the concept of fitness from the perspective of a 79-year-old guy. My bio is basically somewhere in my early 20s. I started to get into fitness and or sports in pretty big way. First I became a ball player, and along with that I started to augment my ball playing ability. I was working with weights, weight training, that kind of thing. And somewhere around in my 30s, I drifted into, I guess maybe I was always doing some running in conjunction with my baseball playing, but it'd probably be the wind sprints and that kind of thing. But I became somehow slipped into becoming a long distance road runner, and ended up over 20, let's see, from the time I was in my mid-30s till I was in my mid-50s. So yeah, just a 20-year period. I ran 20 marathons and a gazillion 10Ks, 5Ks, all those different distances of races. Almost every weekend I'd be running a race or something. So, but how it happened, I was sure when I was a runner that I would run until the day I died, but somehow I got away from it. I got distracted by my music, perhaps. I got distracted also by my interest in atheism versus religion, etc. So anyway, now here I am, 79, and having lots of psychological, physical issues. I'm very, very weak. I stopped doing everything, as I say, years ago. I kind of got doing the music thing, and more lately what we're doing right now, this kind of video thing and discussions about religion and everything. So I got away from it all. And here I am dealing with, you going down? You went down? Okay. Dealing with the problem of my obvious lack of fitness. I've kind of been looking the other way for a long time. But I've kind of done that thing. I get spurts of, yeah, I'm going to start to do stuff. Well, obviously, I can't run and lift any serious weights or anything like that, but I can. So I'm trying to get basically the story is I'm trying to get myself back into having exercise habits. But there's an interesting problem. I don't know if realizing this is going to help with the struggle or not. But there's this interesting problem. Doing exercise is counterintuitive to what we feel, I guess. Because here I am, one of my huge problems is I'm tired all the time. I want to lay down many times a day. Sometimes have a snooze, but it doesn't matter, just lay down. And doing anything else seems like a stress. So here's the counterintuitive argument, the cognitive dissonance that I'm struggling with. I'm very tired, and I know there's part of my mind saying, you need exercise. I mean, there's a part of it saying, I'm tired, I need to rest. But the truth is, the underlying truth is that kind of perpetual tiredness, or what is almost clinical tiredness. The answer is, I need exercise. So it's a real battle. You know, I'd be like, oh, I think I'll go and lay down, and there's another part of my be saying, hey, no, you need to go for a walk or do something. There's lots of little, you know, I've got a little pair of dumbbells, and I've got a chinning bar, and I can walk around the pool. And but anyway, there's that counterintuitiveness, which is a fundamental part of what I'm trying to discuss today. And I'm convinced that goes on with people at all levels of life. I remember training as a runner, and all my friends were runners, and we talk about training and eating, of course, and always a big thing was to keep our body weight to a minimum. You don't see any fat marathon winners. There was all that stuff going on all the time. And even then, you had a little cognitive dissonance going on. You're going, oh man, I've been running a lot. I'm tired. I'm going to rest today, or I'm going to take a day off. Well, I never took a day off, but I might say, I'm going to only run 5 kilometers today. That'll do. And another part of me saying, no. So there was this struggle. Feels like I need rest, but to achieve running faster and longer, I need to do more work. So I think that's the kind of dysfunction that it just doesn't seem to make sense. You're tired. Most times the answer is you need rest. And at this point, I need rest because I'm tired, because I'm not doing enough exercise. I guess that's kind of a backwards cause and relation thing, but I think that's what's happening. I know that's what's happening. So, for example, yesterday, I did pretty good. We're only a couple of days, you know, it's a hit and miss kind of thing, but right now I'm kind of keying on the exercise thing. So yesterday, I went for a walk, nothing, you know, down and back probably certainly less than a kilometer. And then later, Annie and I, my buddy that I walk with, we went in the pool and didn't do a hell of a lot of exercise, but a little walking around, a little swimming, and for a while. And then in the afternoon, I'm not a social butterfly, but this is going to kind of sound like it, because the same afternoon, we end up going to the beach with friends of ours. Some friends playing music there. We get to the beach, and the restaurant bar where the music is absolutely packed. It's just insane. In fact, we get literally the last table available, and it's kind of stuck out on the edge of the beach because the restaurant proper is so jammed with people. Anyway, the reason for this story is the same day that I did the exercise in the morning, the walking and the pool, I do this thing, go to the beach. It's not a big deal. It was difficult for me to get to the table where I could, I'm close to blind, and there's shadowy in there, and I can't see where I'm going. I'm afraid of tripping. So it was stressful, I guess, for me to get there. But then you get there, and I'm sitting at a table with friends. But I noticed immediately that I was physically uncomfortable, tired feeling, and a little bit distracted, and maybe just, I can't see what the hell's going on because of my lack of vision. It's noisy, there's people talking loud, there's music. And so I had a really tough time. We were there for, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. And there, of course, thoughts running through my head, holy shit, I'm feeling really rough, uncomfortable psychologically and physically, etc. And there's a little voice going, well, yeah, you did that exercise this morning, you walked and played in the pool, all of that. So it's kind of like, if you let it sneak in, there'd be another little voice there going, yeah, that exercise shit is stupid. If you hadn't done that, you'd be feeling much better right now, sort of thing. So, so there's this little battle going on. So where am I going from here? Here's the plan. I'm going to try to keep doing the same thing until my body and my mind is saying, come on, let's do more. So I'm taking the slow approach. Oh, I remember, I want to throw this little anecdote out. Years ago when I was in the middle of my long distance running career, if you call it that, and everything, I was reading a story, and I think it was in some kind of a runner's magazine, or that's what I read. Everything was to do with especially running and or fitness. And there was an interesting bio in there of a woman telling her own story. I'm gonna wait till that truck stops, okay? Okay, so I'm talking about this woman telling her story. Turns out she's even older than I am. I think she was 84. And she was, what would we call it? She was bedbound. All she did was stay in bed. So she finally got talking to a doctor, and she asked the doctor, like, what's wrong with me? All I do is lay in bed, rest, sleep and rest. I don't do anything. She said, what, am I dying? What's happening to me? And fortunately for her, she had a a doctor with a little bit of wisdom and knowledge, perhaps, and he said, as far as I can see, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. You don't have any diseases that we can detect or anything like that. It just, my observation is you are just in horrible physical condition. So during the discussion, the doctor explains to her, you need to walk. So I don't know how she had the wisdom to do this, but what she started doing was getting out of her bed and walking around the bed. That was the start of it. And the story goes, her story went, that I'm not sure how long it was, but I think it was like a month. And she actually walked a kilometer where a month earlier she was bound to a bed, or bedridden, I guess you call it. So I think she's my in my memory, she's my motivational hero. And so I'm going to try to emulate her method of, maybe I should just admit to me, I don't even care if I walked it'd be a distance of about 6 or 7 blocks, less than a kilometer for sure, maybe 3/4 of a kilometer at most, or somewhere like that. I walked about the same distance yesterday. So I'm going to just try to maintain that without getting into this. All my life I've struggled with this thing. I can do more, push myself. I'm going to try to avoid that this time. Well, all I'm hoping for is a little more comfortable, pleasant times where I'm enjoying life. It's not that I'm not enjoying life, but there's times when it's a struggle. I want that feeling of, life is good, and I don't live exactly without it, because I have a wonderful wife and a lovely house to live in, and now I have my new little friend Lucy that you met at the beginning of the video. So I got things to be happy about. It's just the vision issue. I have vertigo. When I stand up, I have vertigo, and so walking is tricky and everything. But I'm going to throw all those excuses out and just start doing what I can do. So check in on me in a little while and see how I'll let you know how it goes. If I get to the point where I figure if I could do it for about a month, something every day, it would start to become a habit, and then there isn't the struggle of, should I go for a walk or should I lay down, just do it. Okay, that's my giving God a break for the day. It's what's the date now? January
13.
January 13, 2020. And that's all I'm going to do for today. Thanks a lot. I'll let you know how the exercise thing is going in the next video, or in some video in the future, and talk to you then.